Jedi Fallen Order has been out for a little over a week, and if you haven't picked up your copy yet, maybe this can swing things for you. Here's how the game's currently performing, and remember, this review is spoiler free.
Okay. Alright, let's go. Get to work.
I have to say this straight off the bat, Jedi Fallen Order is one of the best looking games I have played recently. The developers at Respawn Entertainment with the juggernaut publisher EA behind them have managed to pull off some seriously well crafted cutscenes, lighting, animations, and even fine details like hair, which is notoriously hard to master.
What a score! It's a real scrapper's payday!
That doesn't mean that it isn't without issues, but we'll cover those later. Fallen Order is EA's push to restore faith in an IP they had for a few years but haven't managed to do anything inspiring with. But through some hard work and good writing team, this story is brought to life. Having played for a while, I found the game to be intuitive in some areas but lacking in others. The controls were definitely something that was quick and easy to pick up, apart from the climbing. Something about the left trigger just didn't click for me at first, but the rest was easy to figure out. The early game focuses on your young protagonist, Cal Kestis, a young apprentice Jedi who didn't finish his training, which is glaringly obvious.
Apprentice, mark well and listen.
Master.
Trust only in the Force.
And after the Jedi Order is destroyed, he finds work as a scrapper to stay out of the way of the Empire. But after using his Force abilities to save a friend, his powers were sensed by the Empire, and the second sister arrives on the planet to hunt out the fugitive Cal.
We seek a dangerous fugitive. This is no common anarchist, but a devotee of the treasonous Jedi Order.
But they weren't the only ones who sensed the Force being used. After an explosive train sequence and a small boss battle against the second sister, you are rescued by Grease and Seri.
Okay, shut that thing off and grab some seat.
Two rebels who are trying to reform the Jedi Order to put a stop to the Empire. And so begins your quest. You jump on a ship and learn how to use your Force powers by traversing planets and fighting various enemies. Some of them will test you, or outright eat you. The game itself challenged me, giving you the option to play on various modes or to go through a story-based mode which made you massively closer to what an apprentice Jedi would truly be like in terms of power. The great thing is that the different modes display the differences in terms of how they affect the gameplay. Playing on hard makes the enemies aggressive and punishes you for not timing your parries correctly, whereas playing on story mode makes it a lot more lenient and the enemies seem almost hesitant to attack, knowing how powerful even an apprentice Jedi could be. Terrain traversal in-game is easy enough, and filled with some simple and more complex puzzles to keep you on your toes, much like Naughty Dog's Uncharted series. The combat, I found at least, was almost a mixture of Dark Souls and Batman Arkham, leaving you trying to work out how best to deal with certain creatures, or deciding to avoid them altogether, but definitely leaving you feeling like a badass when that last stormtrooper is dealt with. There are bugs, of course, and many of them are being dealt with. Some of them are unfortunately game-breaking and don't allow you to continue if you try to skip ahead of where you should be. Though some of these are down to design flaws. Frame rate issues plague some scenes, but playing on the rig I have seemed to be less of an issue than what I've seen on consoles. But they have recently released a patch which has rectified a lot of these issues. It could have a bit more polish, but the delivery is still good enough to keep people entertained, and there's a lot to explore and do. You can also customize your own lightsaber, which is a nice feature, but it serves no impact on how it performs in battle, much like putting a poncho on Cal. The game certainly deserves the praise it's received. I was certainly impressed and found myself immersed in the world and its inhabitants, but now I need my own BD1. A little more polish and time to iron out bugs and it would have been a solid 8.5 at least, but this game has more than enough to warrant you to buy it. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan like me, you'll find it yourself enjoying the worlds that have been crafted in gameplay that feels familiar, but with all the badassery of being a Jedi, even if it's an apprentice. Thanks for watching this review on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. If you want to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe on the channel and leave a comment down below.
You were talking in your sleep. Weirdo.